Greetings to one and all, it's your old buddy Jay here, coming at you with some more Countermeasures goodness. Another game changer for you today. This is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Now, this has been remastered by Vicarious Visions, the original one being, the original developer being Neversoft, and it was published by Activision back in 1999, and then I think that was the first one, and then I think the second one came out shortly after that. This game originally is one of the highest scoring games on Metacritic and still is up there with the best of them. Incredibly popular back in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s. I certainly played it a lot. When I was flat sharing with some friends of mine in London, we used to play this all the time, as well as Wipeout. We would, and Gran Turismo on the old PS1, we would often have a go on Tony Hawk's. And it's it was a lot of fun, and even more so, we did borrow a massive digital projector from work once, and had it full size on the side of my bedroom wall, which was quite fun for a sort of long weekend. So nerds together, we just played a lot of this. And what was great about it was that it was very intuitive at the time, and very easy to get hold of the controls, and it could be as complex as you wanted to make it. You could do simple kick flips and ollies and all that kind of stuff, or you could go for some more of the slightly more sort of trickier sort of tricks that you can do on your board. Now, I'm not going to name those tricks because I know absolutely nothing about skateboarding. However, I have sunk hundreds of hours into this thing, and into the originals, and have had a great time. Couldn't tell you hardly any of the moves. Kickflip, I remember. Now, that doesn't really matter because this game is obscenely fun, and they have decided that, we'll take something that already exists, that did really, really well 20 years ago, and we'll give it a fresh coat of paint and see if there's an audience for it, because it was so popular. And, usually I am kind of against some of these, old school remasters just being done for a bit of a cash grab. Some of them can be a little bit egregious. This one isn't. This one is absolutely brilliant. They have not only taken what was really good about all the original, the original maps and everything on the first two, they have just improved everything so much. So the connectivity with the world, the way your character feels when you're playing, the speed that you kind of pick up as you're going along, it all feels, it just feels great. And when you come off your board and skid across the floor on your knees, I feel it every single time. I just feel it. It's like like here at Total Face Plant. It's just so good, and it just really invokes a lot of emotion while you're playing. And I've been really enjoying my time with it. Now, they have improved loads of things about the game, which arguably didn't need improving, but they've just taken the time to spend the time on the detail and really hone those things down. So things like the time it takes you to get back up off the floor on your board. You kind of do this glitch thing where you're on the floor one moment, then you're back on your board the next. That just does not slow down your gameplay when you make a mistake. You come off your board and you're like, in the previous game there would be a little bit of a longer delay. Not that it's spoiled the game in any way. It's just that now they've speeded that up. It's just improved that so much. The other great thing about this game is you cannot remaster this game without having the original soundtracks to both 1 and 2. They were absolute classics. There were some absolutely brilliant songs on there, and they have managed to get the licensing back for all of the songs that were on the original 2. Plus, they've included a whole load of new ones as well, which is just brilliant, because there are songs on there that bands that I've not ever heard of that I'm now listening to while I'm skating around, and it's just brilliant. I'm having an absolute ball with it. There are other things that they've looked at that you probably just take for granted now, but if you were to look at the old one, you would see that the lighting effects weren't that great. In this one, they're amazing. The textures weren't that great before. You just kind of put up with it. Now they've absolutely nailed it, and all the graffiti and everything, it just looks absolutely brilliant. And this is all running on a PS4 Pro, and the quality is just, I don't know what a PS5 or an Xbox, whatever that's called, and the strength of the power of those, I have no idea what this is going to look like. It's going to look like, if it can look more incredible than this, I'll be pleasantly surprised. So other things that they've improved, so things like the draw distance, that was always a thing on some of the later maps where you're you're playing, and you can see cities and various landscapes in the distance. In the old one, there'd be a lot of pop in. A lot of that would just kind of pop up while you were playing, which wasn't really that distracting but noticeable. And now there's absolutely zero pop in for any of that, which is really, really cool. There's a lot of things that are really familiar about this game. So within about 2 minutes of playing it, my muscle memory just came back to not that you'd be able to tell from my gameplay, but a lot of the muscle memory for what the kick flips were. Now I go saying kick flips again because it's the only thing I know, and various other moves like grabbing the board and trying to get a little bit more airtime and spinning around. All that stuff just instinctively came back to me, which is a detriment to the remastering of this, that they haven't ignored what was great about the previous one. Like I said, the thing that they do continue, which they started in the second Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the original one back in the early 2000s, was that they had a whole load of skill points that you can use to upgrade your skater, etc., and the different moves that you can do. They've brought that back again, and they've also included it within the first one, which didn't originally exist. So now you can cross between both sets of maps and carry on those skills, which is very refreshing. There are also a whole load of new play styles that they've introduced. They have over 700 challenges across all of the maps. So there's different things you can do, like kind of hopping through hoops and picking up icons and items and things like that, which has been a lot of fun. Obviously, as you level up, you also get like new decks. You get like new clothes for your character and all that kind of stuff. So they've introduced a whole side to it. I don't remember the first one having, maybe the second one, but you could customize your character a little bit more to make him your own. The games aren't particularly that long. Certainly not when I'm playing anyway, because I spend most of the time on the floor. But they're not particularly that long. But the load times are so small that you hardly notice that it's really an issue in between. Trying to get your various achievements. Now, there's a lot of games out there that concentrate on building all these maps and stories over much longer periods of time, and and there's a kind of deep, in-depth lore behind everything and all that kind of stuff. And yet, the most fun I've had with a game this year has been a guy on a skateboard in one room, and I think that just says everything about this game, which is that it's entertaining, it's fun. You can have a go and then pass it to your mates while you're playing. My little boy's interested in it. He's only 5, and he just really he likes sort of skating around on it. I just think it caters for all ages, and it's you can go as professional or you can be as simple with it as you like, and luckily simple works for me, so that's always good. There's a whole other section where you can create your own park. So again, I think that was another feature in previous games, but not the first one, certainly. Maybe the second one, it's not so hot on the second one. I don't remember playing it, the park, build a park part on that one, but it may have existed at the time. It certainly exists now, and it is amazing. You can build all of your own style parks, and you can upload them for other people to play online, which is always good. There is a multiplayer section to this, which I think is also very good. Something that wasn't really that great in previous games. I think they've really kind of started to hone, look at what makes this franchise work. And this is a welcome return to the franchise, because they actually had a fifth iteration of this game, not this game, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 came out in 2015, I think 2015, and it was not very good. It bombed, and didn't get very high scores. The critics didn't like it. Even the people that absolutely love the franchise gave it a good old panning. So it is nice to see that they've listened to all of that and actually just taken what's good about that whole franchise and has just turned it into this, and it is really, really good fun. Now, you can have the old style controls if you want to, so you can have the classic versions, or you can default to the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 settings, which introduce a whole load of other ways to play. It's up to you. The flexibility in this game is really good. Now, the other thing, like I said, with the lighting and everything and the textures, it does look beautiful. While you're playing, and even though I'm clearly wiping out most of the time, I've never scraped across the floor and been so happy to look at textures, so that's always a good sign. Now, the nostalgia definitely works here. I'm getting a lot of flashbacks to 20 years ago, dossing around the house with my mates, which was always a good time with when Tony Hawk's was playing. So as a skater, he must be incredibly happy that this is out and has been refreshed, and I'm sure he'll be very happy happy. I'm sure his bank balance will be incredibly happy, because I think it's going to do absolute gangbusters. Are they reselling an old hat? Yes, they are, but give me that hat. And yeah, I really, really cannot rave about how brilliant it feels. And anyone that wants to have a little sort of reminisce about the past, have a go on this. You know, if you played it in the past, you're going to absolutely love it like I do. And if you've never played it before, you're going to love it anyway, because it is such a good game. I'm going to give this an easy 9 out of 10. I think that they've really done great with this. All that's left to say is be good, stay safe, and be kind to one another. Cheers.